Hey everyone, this is Raman Singh with the JRP Group. This is our third episode for Classes In. So today we'll be talking about fix and flips with Harinder Toor. Harinder has been doing the fix and flip for the last 10 years and he's expert on this thing, and we'll just know more about him. So Harinder, tell me, what do you do? And
Sure. So my main bread and butter when I started out about 20 years ago was building spec homes in the Central Valley. As you know, the market tanked in 2008. I basically had to reinvent the wheel again with my knowledge of construction. So I got into fire water restoration, and in 2008 and 9 I went that route. So that saved my neck.
Okay.
And then as my company grew, I started having payroll expenses, and so I needed to figure out how to supplement my income to help support payroll taxes, and etc. For those who are business owners, as you know, payroll taxes in California and workers' comp puts you through a negative in the hole. So I went out and got the bright idea and saying, hey, why don't I buy these properties that these homeowners that have no insurance, that have fire damage, fix them, flip them, and put them back on the market. So that's how the light bulb went in my head, and that's how I did my first one. I made about, I think, $30,000 off my first one. And then evidently, then I did another one, then I did another one, did another one. But I wasn't so aggressive because my main bread and butter was fire water restoration. That's what I was doing. I was only doing it to supplement income. So about 4 or 5 years ago, I started to take this and scale it and say, you know what, I think I can do it at a better scale. So that's how I got into fix and flip, totally by chance.
Harinder, what are the perfect signs of fix and flip? How do you find the perfect deal?
So the perfect deal would be basically where you help the homeowner out.
Okay.
It's not about the home, it's about them. And the greatest asset that Americans own is their house.
Sure.
So when they have a problem and they need to solve it quickly, whether they live out of state or they have a death in the family or a job change, or etc., there's so many things that can happen. So you're there to solve a problem. And if you can solve that problem, then you'll buy the house. So you always have to think, it's not about the house that you're buying, it's about them. If you can help solve the problem, then it's the perfect flip, because they know up front you want to tell them that 9 out of 10 times you can get a lot more money by selling with a real estate agent such as yourself. You're a broker and you've been doing it for a very long time, you're successful. So because if you sign that deal at a discount, they're going to pick up the phone and call their aunt and uncle, brother. They're going to find out. It's better to be truthful up front and let them know 9 out of 10 times you're going to be able to get more money with a real estate agent. But that 10%, that's me. I can help you solve this problem. I'm going to exchange time and convenience for you, but however, I'm going to buy your house at a discount, and that's my business model. That's how I make my money. As long as you're upfront with them and you can solve a problem and they sell you a house, you fix it and you flip it, both parties, it's a win-win situation. So that is the perfect flip.
So what kind of markets we should look for a flip? I know we're in Central Valley here. And do you just do flips in Central Valley, or are you in out of state as well, or Bay Area? How do you determine a market for your flip?
Good question. That's a very good question. So I want to focus close to my house so I can keep an eye on it. And plus, it's going to cost me a lot less to monitor the progress on a house that's closest to my vicinity of my office. But most of my flips are coming from Sacramento. So we're buying in Sacramento, Auburn, Santa Rosa, Santa Cruz, and these areas. But my perfect flip would be basically closer to my home. And I go by is buying square footage. So typically, the bigger the square footage, kind of like a pyramid, the more the square footage, the less people can afford it. I want to be the bottom feeder. So my ideal house is based on square footage. So anything under 1,800 square feet, anywhere in California, whether it be in San Jose or be in Modesto, that's my market, and that's when I buy. The reason why is because I can fix it fast and I can sell it fast. Holding cost on it is very little. The repairs on it, very little. Buy it, hold it, fix it, flip it, and get rid of it.
Okay. I know. I think you did some sales flips in Texas as well. Right? How did
I cannot believe you remember that. So I bought based on Hurricane Harvey. So I took off to Houston and I bought 4 flips. 2 I got rid of really fast. 2 it took me a little bit longer. So evidently the entire community wasn't rebuilding as fast enough because I don't know. They didn't get the insurance money, or some people just decided to leave. And so that looked like more like a war zone. I actually lost money on 2. Number 2, the reason I would not buy out of state is the fact that if I wanted to go check on my project, I would have to get on a plane, fly 5 hours to Houston to check on something. And another thing is that I didn't know what the local market was. So whatever bid that I got, I didn't know if it was the right bid or it had a surge price on it. So I took the first bids and got essentially the work done. 2 I made about $40,000. The other 2 I lost about between $6,000 to $10,000 on the other 2. So my recommendation is don't buy out of state. Buy something local that you can keep an eye on. Predominantly somewhere where you can, it could be an hour worth of drive for you.
So anybody who's getting into flip, you would say that start a local market.
Yes, conquer that market.
And then if you're looking to expand, then go out and look for more opportunities if you think you're ready for it, right?
Yes, it's always difficult to basically fight a war in somebody else's backyard.
Okay.
For example, if you're going to fight a war, you want to fight it in your own backyard where you have home turf advantage, rather than going outside of your market. It's the unknown. So it's better to do something local. If you have a multi-million-dollar company and you have boots on the ground and it's your team, yeah, then go to Texas, Florida, Arizona, wherever you can.
Okay.
But start small, start local. That's where you need to focus on.
So next question, what are the 5 mistakes that anybody can avoid when they're doing a fix and flip?
Sure. So even last month, I bought a house on Victoria in Modesto. I didn't get a chance to inspect it all. I was in a hurry. I wanted to get out. The seller was ready to sell. I didn't do a full inspection. It cost me an extra 15 grand. The reason why, because I have a foundation crack on the back wall. And even the septic tank has to be replaced. These are things that I didn't catch on. Another thing is that you gotta know your value. So you have to know your value in terms of what that house is gonna resell for. If you miscalculate, that's gonna cost you a lot of money. Another mistake that I've made is that I've done my inspections, but then there's a oops. What I mean by oops is that you find mold, you find termites, you find something that you did not get a chance to see. So things have popped up like mold. Like today, I went down to go do an inspection. I thought I was able to save the kitchen, but I found black mold behind the sink. So when you open it up, that's all full of black mold.
Oh.
Not only that, got dry rot on the cabinet. So I just lost the entire kitchen because that kitchen was built roughly 25 years ago. I cannot, my line of sight on that one cabinet, if I take it out, I can't replace it, which means I have to take out all the cabinets now, because if I just replace that one cabinet, the line of sight basically says that I can't match it. So the entire kitchen came out. So that screwed up my budget by at least 10 grand.
So do you recommend that somebody, like you're in construction, so you know more about construction, but somebody who's new to fix and flip and they're just normal, knowledge about the properties, they would take like a property inspector maybe just check it out with
Sure.
them? Do you recommend that?
Absolutely. Take your best friend, your contractor, somebody that would basically be a second set of eyes for you.
Okay.
A home inspector would be ideal. You'll pay about $350 to $400, but it's worth it. When you buy that home, inspect it so they can come out with a list of things that are potentially wrong, and then you can budget your rehab. It's critical. Yes, so I do recommend that.
Okay.
2 more mistakes that I've made is basically buying out of state. That's one of the critical things that I've done, is to buy in Houston after Hurricane Harvey. It cost me an arm and a leg on travel fees, lodging, and then I lost money. So if we're gonna hold on for a long term, it would have been great. But immediately, no. I'm in that market to immediately sell. The other mistake that I've sold, oh yes, here's another one. One critical mistake that I made, this is young in 2002. So I had let a homeowner who basically was getting kicked out of their home in San Jose moved into a property. So I let her move in and said, hey, let me move in, we're gonna be closing in about 3 days. their loan couldn't get funded. Now I had a tenant, potential buyer that's moved into a house that I cannot kick out, that I let them move in prematurely. If the house is not a record, don't give them the keys. So that's one critical mistake that I made. Never let anybody move into a house until it's 100% sold and you are on record.
So what's the outlook for fix and flip in 2020 and beyond? What do you think where it's going? What are the margins you think will be for 2020
It doesn't matter what the market's saying. It's what you can buy it at.
Okay.
So you can be in the worst part of the recession. If you buy it at the right price, you'll be able to make money on. So I've actually took 19 years to figure out well, everybody makes money when the economy goes up, but it took me 20 years to figure out when the economy goes down. That's when you should be buying a lot more, because that's when everybody is basically panicking, and you want to take advantage of that. Don't take advantage of the people, but take advantage of the situation in terms of when the economy's down, they want to sell. Genuinely be good in your offer, and they explain that to them, but that's when you should be buying a lot. So it doesn't matter if the economy's going up and down. If it's going up, everybody's making money. But when it's going down, you should be pocketing more houses, so that way you can hold on to them, because the economy will go up. You cannot bet against the United States economy and expect to win. The economy will go up. So if you look at the stock market back in 2008 and 9, and you look at it now, big difference, right? Or even the housing, it had gone down to what? You can buy a house for 80, 90. The same house is selling for about 350 now. So hold on to them. So some of the best advice that I can give you is, I think the economy's doing great. 2020, even 2021 will be doing phenomenal. So it's a great opportunity to fix and flip.
Is there any financing options for fix and flip buyers, or they have to go in all cash? How do you finance your deals, or how do you structure your deals?
Sure. So all my deals are all cash, and it took me a long time to save up this cash. So the reason why I like doing cash is that I don't have to pay 9 or 10% of hard money interest, and that 1 or 2, 3 points that I have to pay. So that's the best way. But if people that don't have cash, there's hard money lenders out there. There's plenty of them out there. Finance America, Lima One, Lending One. There's even local lenders. Or your buddies or your family are the best source. Get 3 people involved, 3, 4 people involved, their credit, and say, hey, let's go do a flip. 1, you'll learn. 2, you can pull your money together, and you should be able to do that. If you go the traditional route, you're not going to be able to get that fix and flip, because a bank was not going to lend money on that asset that has deferred maintenance on it.
Yeah.
So, and if you don't have the money for it, you can wholesale it. So find the deal, and then find some investors, and you're basically selling that contract to somebody else. So people that don't have money, you can wholesale it. You can ask, you reach out to me, and I'll be able to help you figure that out. And I also teach fix and flip classes for free to people who want to learn how to fix and flip.
Right. How do you find a good deal for fix and flip? What are the ways you can get into fix and flip and finding a right property for fix and flip?
So I have a lot of people that work for me. So they do drive-bys. It's called driving for dollars. So drive-by, they'll note the address. They'll let me know. We'll pull title. We'll call the owner or send an offer through the mail for them. I also have direct mail. I have billboards, signs in Sacramento. I have Google AdWords. And number 2 is that I tell people everywhere I go, hey, I buy houses. So the more people know that I buy houses, the word gets out. Realtors, friends, plumbers, anybody that's willing to listen. So if I go fill up gas at a gas station, I'll leave my card and say, I buy houses. If you know anybody's selling a house, I'll buy it quickly at a discount. So these are the combination of things that you can do to basically better your chances of finding that perfect house. You never know who is selling a house, whether you're your neighbor, your realtor, your friends, or direct mail, or people that's on the internet searching for that.
So thank you, Harinder, for coming in today here. We really appreciate your time.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Raman.
So if you guys ever need any help with solar or fire restoration, construction, call Harinder Toor. He's local here in Modesto. And thank you again very much.
I also want to say thank you, Raman, for hosting me. I also want to thank the JRP group for hosting this podcast. And glad to be here.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Cool.